well, besides EDC too, any other festival that you're actually going to intentionally really work to like get your steps in for, start preparing physically. Other than EDC, I would say anything at the Gorge, because 2-3 days of that hill, that incline, it can be a lot on you.
Hey guys, welcome back to Rave Culture Cast, your weekly guide to the EDM community, music festivals, and more. I am your host, Emma Capotis. Happy Wednesday, fam. Thank you so much for tuning into a new episode. You can connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. We also have an amazing Facebook group and Discord community if you want to check that out. I will leave links for that all below. But before we get into things, I want to do a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, Loop Earplugs. So if you guys didn't know, Loop Earplugs dropped a collaboration with Tomorrowland, which features the stunning Tomorrowland logo. It's got everything you need in here. So this is the Experience earplugs, which are my personal favorite. I bring a pair of these, actually bring 2 pairs with me to every show and festival. So these are meant for concerts, festival goers, ravers like yourselves, because they preserve the quality of the sound, but they protect your hearing from long-term damage or tinnitus, which is that ringing that you get in your ear when you guys don't wear your earplugs. So this filters the noise by 17 decibels, which is amazing. It's got this really, really stylish packaging, which this one, of course, features the Tomorrowland logo on the front, which I love. And I got the purple color, which is absolutely stunning. You also get these interchangeable ear tips, which I love. So you get this little carrying case, which I take this little loop that's attached to it and I hook this onto my bag. I use Lunchbox, and it hooks onto that. So when you open it up, it's got this stunning like holographic vibe to it. It's so pretty. They look really nice in your ears as well. So I've been using Loop now for at least almost like 2 years now, and I absolutely love it. So definitely check these out. I have a discount code for you guys, which you can use to save on the Loop Link bundle plus the Tomorrowland Experience earplugs. The code is LoopXEmmaTML for 15% off. So LoopXEmmaTML for 15% off the bundle between the Loop Link and the Experience earplugs, or you can get 2 or more of these earplugs and that will count for that as well. So I will leave all of that link down below because I know that's a mouthful, but shout out Loop Earplugs for sponsoring this episode. All right, with that being said, you guys, first off, I wanted to say happy Pride Month because this is the first episode we're doing in June. So to all my LGBTQ plus community, I absolutely love you guys. I hope that this is a place that you feel included, a place that you can express yourself, that you can find connections and friends, and you get to just be who you are and live your truth. So shout out to all of you guys. We are celebrating you every day this month, as we are all throughout the year, but I hope you have something special planned. I talked to our guest today in the episode a little bit about Pride, so we're going to get into that, but I'm actually attending my first Pride event this year, which I'm so excited because I live near New York City, and obviously Pride is huge in the city, and I'm going to be attending the Femme House show, which is June 28th at Superior Ingredients. Honestly, such a vibe. I went to my first Superior Ingredients show in April and it was amazing. It's a rooftop, by the way, and in the summer they open the roof, so it's like open air, which is so sick. It used to be Output. If you guys know, you know, Output was one of my favorite clubs in Brooklyn, and it was just like a vibe, but sadly it closed, and they rebranded and they redid the entire roof and made it like a much wider space, which I loved. And the thing I fucking love the most, you guys, it's only from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, can we take a minute? It's a day show. I freaking love a day show. You mean I get to be in bed at a normal hour? Thank you. So I'm so here for it. So Femme House is doing a Pride show. I don't think the lineup has been announced yet, but I was like, yes, sign me up. Some of the homies are going to be there. And we love a day show. Partying on the roof on a summer Friday, like hello. So I'm so excited for that. But yeah, just wanted to start off saying happy Pride to everyone out there. Also want to shout out a new track from Dom Dalla. Guys, it's Friday, June 7th when I'm recording this. And this has been a highly anticipated track from him. It's called Girls. He's dropped this in a couple sets that he's done, and he's been teasing this for a minute on social media, on TikTok. So he just dropped this track and it's absolutely fire. So I'm probably going to play a couple seconds of it here if I don't get copyrighted. But absolutely love this one. Girls from Dom Dalla. Honestly, probably going to be one of the top hits of the summer. Let's take a listen to Girls by Dom Dalla.
Nobody girls, don't need nobody.
that get you in the best mood, Dom Dalla never misses, you guys. And it's a summer Friday when I'm recording this, so I'm just like in a good mood. It's the weekend. We're feeling the vibes. I'm pumped about summer. Pumped about my upcoming shows, things like that. So yeah, sending you guys all the good vibes today. We're going to continue that going because I have a dear friend on the podcast today. So this is like just us catching up, but going over some really helpful tips for you guys for summer festival season. So I have my friend Grant Rogers on, who some of you might know. He is a familiar face in the scene. He is based in Seattle now, and he does freelance contract work for festivals in the operations space. And he is just a super passionate person. He loves the festival scene. He loves our community. And it's been so nice getting to know him over the last 3 years and forming that friendship and connecting over, music and festivals. And so I've, wanted to have him on for a long time, but we're finally having this full circle moment. So Grant, attends so many festivals a year. Obviously he does this for work. So we're going to talk a little bit about Pride first and foremost in the LGBTQ plus community, which he is a part of, and just what it's meant to be a part of that, and just like come into yourself, in the rave scene and how important that is. We are going to do a lightning in a bottle recap because he just came back from LIB and it was his first one. He absolutely loved it, and I'm very interested in this festival for next year. So we're going to do a LIB recap for you guys. We're also going to talk about some festival tips and advice for summer in general, how he prepares. Again, he's attended at least like 6 festivals already this year. So he's got tons of tips and advice. We're going to go over common festival mistakes that people make. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Gorge. Since he is based in Seattle, he's done a bunch of festivals at the Gorge. And we have Beyond Wonderland coming up, and Base Canyon this summer. So we'll also touch on some tips for you guys for the Gorge. So with all of that being said, please join me in welcoming Grant Rogers to Rave Culture Cast. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Today, I am just super excited to be having a fun chat with a dear friend who I've met through the festival community, who also is probably a familiar face to some of you guys. He's a festival fanatic who has turned a passion into a career. So he is a freelancer in festival operations, which is really cool, just traveling all over, doing amazing things. I have witnessed him looking out for others and making this community a better place. So I'm so excited to finally have him here on the podcast. So Grant Rogers, welcome to Rave Culture Cast.
I am so excited to be here.
Yay! I know this is a long time coming,
It's
finally.
such a full circle moment for me.
That's so cool. I know. I love it. I was like trying to think back. Do you remember when was the first time we like actually met in person?
I
I,
think the first time we met in person was EDC 2021, October
okay.
EDC. Yeah.
October EDC. That's so
Yeah.
crazy. Honestly, probably one of the best EDCs ever, if you
Oh,
ask
yeah.
me.
I miss that EDC.
Well, I kind of want to kick things off for anybody who may not know you. Like I said, this is just going to be like friends chatting, but everybody else listening right now, you guys are in on our conversation, but we're going to like dive into all things like, obviously summer festival season is in full swing. Grant is an expert in that. You've got so much things coming up too. It's Pride Month as well, which happy Pride. So excited for that. So we're going to kind of topic hop, but tell us a little bit about yourself. Where do you live? I know you recently moved. What do you do for a living? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so I live in Seattle. I moved here at the end of August. Although I feel like I'm gone so much that the
Mm-hmm.
time has gone by really fast, but I absolutely love it here. I think this city is like a really good fit for me. And I really love this scene here. I
Mm-hmm.
also work part-time at a really cute Raven Festival boutique in Seattle called Trendy Windy.
Love that.
So if you're in Seattle, come check us out for your Raven Festival clothes. We got some really cute stuff.
That's
Um,
awesome. Yeah.
so
It's
yeah,
almost been a year. That's crazy.
I know it has gone by so fast. I signed my lease in July last year.
Last year.
Yeah,
Wow.
time
It's been
goes
cool to see you
so
get settled
quickly.
in there and like get your group together and stuff like that. Like I mean, it's a huge change to move, but
Oh
it seems like
yeah,
you're in a groove.
yeah. I've definitely gotten in my groove here, and I love it.
That's so cool. And tell us a little bit about like your music taste. Do you have favorite artists, genres? Like who are you as a music fan?
Yeah, so it's definitely like evolved a lot over the last several years. Right now I'm kind of living in two realms. I'm very much in like the freeform bass and down tempo bass, that kind of world. Like Closey is probably my favorite artist in that
Mm-hmm.
realm. And then the other part of me is very much like deep and melodic house.
Mm-hmm.
And so like Nora and Pure is like my favorite artist in like that world. So Lightning in a Bottle, which I know we'll get to, but
Yeah,
it was so perfect for me because I have my two favorites on the lineup. So
that's
that's kind of
amazing.
the world I'm living in music wise right now. I definitely am got my start as a bass boy. So
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's a beautiful like melding of worlds though, honestly. Like those
yeah.
are two very cool genres to be like into. And yeah, I mean I think for the context of this podcast, I think what's just so cool is like what you've been able to build, like not only just like your friendships and networks and things like that, but like the fact that you work in this industry now. Like that's kind of like what I want to dive into a lot of, because there's so many people who listen who are like, how do you do this professionally? Like I absolutely love doing this, but like how can I actually work? So where did that start for you? Like how did you know you wanted to like get into like freelance work and be in the festival scene?
It kind of started by, I don't know if accident's the right word, but my best friend Jeffrey and I, we both wanted to find a way to do more festivals.
Mhm.
My first festival wasn't until April 2021. I went to Ubby Dubby, first festival
Mm.
back,
Yeah.
and I got bit by the bug heavy,
Mhm.
and I just kind of like hit the ground running, and um, so really just got my foot in the door. The very first festival I worked was Base Canyon in 2021.
Mhm.
They had a program back then called Headbanger Helpers. They've since rebranded it. Forget what it's called now, but
Mhm.
and then yeah, just met a lot of people, and it's just very much a like you get to know people and make connections industry, and then just
Mhm.
worked more and more and more.
That's crazy. Oh my god. That's I feel like that is like a tale though that a lot of people have. And like I can't believe it was only 2021 for you. I feel like that you've been doing this for so long. That's still pretty early in your career.
Yeah.
Only 3 years in, and the amount of stuff you've done already is wild. But do you think that's like a good way for people to get their foot in the door though, like a volunteer program?
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You get to like meet a lot of people and a lot of industry people, and
Mhm.
so I think volunteer programs are a great way to start out if you can do it that way. And a lot of the times with the volunteer programs at different festivals, you usually only have to work like 6 or 8 hours or something like that, and then you
Mhm.
have the rest of the time to go have fun.
Right.
So it's definitely a good intro for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, and I know we're going to get into some like deeper topics. I'll keep it light in the beginning, but for it's probably not for everyone. Like out of your experience, like who is a good fit for a volunteer program? Because obviously you don't want to have people who just want to like, fuck around and just join
Yeah.
it to go party, but then they're like volunteering as a side thought. Like who do you think would actually be a good fit for a volunteer program?
You definitely want to have like not just like a passion for festivals, but you want to have like a motivation and purpose for why you're working them with whatever that volunteer program it is, whatever you're doing. Definitely have a passion for wanting to experience that side and wanting to work.
Mhm.
Because I mean, there's definitely the type of people if you're, and I get it, but if you're easily distracted and you just want, if you're
Mhm.
just going for the free wristband or you're just going for um just the music, then
Mhm.
it's I think you got to have a little bit more of a like want and
Mhm.
purpose to do it.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. No, it's like for sure a hard job. Like what everybody does in that program is incredible. So hats off to all of our volunteers. Yeah, I think it's an incredible. I feel like every type of festival has their different programs, which is cool to see those pop up. So yeah, I know like we get a lot of questions of like how do I get a free festival ticket, but if you want to like work in the festival scene. I think that's like a great way to apply and see if you can get in, like, to start. How have you changed as a person in the last 3 years from diving headfirst into the festival scene?
This scene has really helped me come into myself. Um, I got into this scene at a time right after I had been diagnosed with a pituitary adenoma, which is a tumor, benign, but a
Mm-hmm.
tumor on my pituitary gland, which really messed up a lot of my hormones. And for a very long period of time, like honestly, 2016 to 2019, I felt like looking back, I was a completely different person. I was like not
Mm-hmm.
myself then. And I came into the scene right when like my doctors had figured all that out, and I had just gone through a lot of medication and things to kind of correct everything
Mm-hmm.
going on with that and to like bring my levels back to normal to what they should be.
Okay.
And so I was really coming into myself and it was at the perfect time. This scene has just helped me really discover who I am
Mm-hmm.
in all facets and who my community is. Um, and I'll forever be grateful for it. I would not be the person I am today without the last 3 years of
Mm-hmm.
doing festivals and raving. Um, it's really been a special thing for me, and I continue to grow. That's the
Mm-hmm.
other thing I love about this scene is I think the scene and the people in it really push you to grow, to continue to work towards the better versions of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that about it.
Agree. I could not agree with you more. Yeah, there's something like collectively different about people going to festivals, especially ones who like go frequently. It does feel like everyone's like working on a personal journey, or like at least very open to that like personal growth, which is cool to see. So everyone's like kind of on a similar wavelength, which is why I feel like the connections are so strong.
Yeah.
Because even in the short time we've known each other, like, this is great because we actually get to talk. Like, usually we're at a festival, which is fucking crazy, and like we can't hear each other, or like it's busy. So I'm gonna learn so much about you today. But it's I couldn't agree more. Just like on the connections you make, and on top of that, like that time frame you talked about, coming your first festival being LBW, like also COVID in the middle
Yeah.
of all of that, which like everyone dealt with in, different ways, and that's like insane to add on top of everything else you were going through. But it's so cool to see you blossom and grow, and like especially like get more confidence in your job and what you're doing, and kind of like form these connections all over the United States. You must, I mean, especially with what you do, you probably just meet new people and just keep adding to your fam as you go, right?
Yeah. I like it's so funny. And I feel so blessed, but I feel like every city I like travel to, like I have a friend there.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
awesome.
feel like with this community, you meet so many people from all over, you make friends from all over. I feel like you're literally like never alone. And I
Hmm.
love that.
That's so cool. Can we talk a little bit? Okay, is it preferred to say like LGBTQ plus community, queer community? Either is fine. I don't.
Either is fine with me personally. Yeah.
Well, how is that like? Have you found like a community within the rave community of that too? Just like other people you can connect with?
I really have. I like in high school, I think when I was first coming out and everything, I always dreamed of the day I'd have like this solid group of queer friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I think through this community, I have been so blessed to finally find that.
Mm-hmm.
And this community and those friends have helped me um, discover more about myself and within that context. And just, I think the LGBTQ community within the
Mm-hmm.
festival scene is, it's a really amazing group of people who
Yeah.
are very open and accepting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's been a really beautiful thing for me as well.
That's awesome too. Yeah, it is. I mean, I feel like our community in general is like inclusive, and obviously you have the sayings like all are welcome here and everything. But it is cool to see also just like different initiatives and collectives and things like that. Like I'm sure you've seen like Forest comes to mind when they do like their Pride parade, or I know like Recno kind of like leads that, but every festival has their own, facet of that. Do you have any like favorite stories or memories, because you've gone to so many events now, that kind of like show what the LGBTQ plus community is like within the rave scene?
Well, I think my favorite memory is honestly, so my first Pride event ever, like Pride event in general,
Mm-hmm.
was actually Electric Forest Pride in 2022.
Nice.
Um, and I feel like that was a perfect first Pride event for me. And I got to go with um, two amazing friends, Phoebe and Garrett, who are amazing allies.
Yes.
They both went with me, as well as Lexi. That was my first time meeting Lexi, and so
Mm-hmm.
that was very special that Lexi and I have that memory together,
Mm-hmm.
too. And that event really just I remember being very emotional because I really just felt what an amazing support this community is, and
Mm-hmm.
just it was just the perfect vibes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I like remember all of that like happening at Forest too. Yeah, and like all friends of the pod, you guys know Lexi, you know BB, our favorite people.
Yeah.
What a crew. Yeah, honestly, and that I mean, it was my first Forest and only one so far, but like honestly, goated with like the group that we had,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
the vibes were immaculate. So like
It
we
was
need to run that
perfect.
back.
Yes, for sure.
100%. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for sharing those stories. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
I'm always curious to see if Pride Month like actually feels different at all, or like if there's anything you do to celebrate. Are you doing any events this year?
I'm hoping to check out a lot of the Seattle Pride stuff. The big Pride weekend in Seattle is the last weekend of June. Um so I'm excited to check that out. It's my first year like living in a big city during Pride, so very
Nice.
excited to experience all the things.
That's awesome.
Um, so yeah, very much
Hell
looking
yeah.
forward to all of that.
Cool. I know I'm obviously right here near New York City, so I was hoping to do something this year too. And I think Femme House is having a show at Superior Ingredients, and I'm gonna go. So it'll be my first
Yes,
Pride event in the city too. So I'm so
it'll be
excited.
so fun.
I don't know if the lineup's been announced yet, but I know a couple people playing it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with BB to that. So very, very excited. But all right, amazing. We're already off to a good start with like incredible memories. And I while we're here, I do want to recap Lightning in a Bottle since we brought that up. I've never covered Lightning in a Bottle on the podcast. Um quick background, Aid came back glowing with the most amazing vibe with AIDS, with the most amazing things to hear about it. I've heard good stories. I feel like it was always on my radar, but I think I slept on the lineup. I'm going to admit, I think I used to look at it and be like, oh, I'm not sure about a lot of those names. And that was my bad. But please speak to the experience. Was this your first one? Like, how did everything go?
Yeah, this was my first LIB, and honestly, I was kind of in the same boat before this year. The lineup had never really stood out to me, but over the last year, I had just heard more and more amazing things about the festival and how beautiful of an experience it was. And um, this year has very much been a healing era for me.
Love
So
that.
I've been really drawn to like festivals like Texas Eclipse and Forest and Lightning in a Bottle that just offer so much more and offer the health and wellness programming and the
Mm-hmm.
workshops and the world that is created within Lightning in a Bottle is just beautiful in every way.
Mm,
I it's the people are all so friendly, and I know we say that about a lot of festivals like Forth, but
right.
I it's hard to put into words. Everyone is just there to vibe with each other. Um and no one's like caught up in their phones, or that was the biggest thing I noticed, is so many people were just so present,
Mm,
and that really pushed me to be more present.
right.
Well, it was very much, I felt like it was this community of people who really were trying to show up as the best versions of themselves and push themselves to grow.
That's awesome.
And it was just such a special experience. And the experiential aspect of it, there's so much to explore,
Sure.
like just as much, if not maybe more than Forest.
Wow.
There's so many different things to explore, and there's also like the burner culture that's present at LIB, which I loved getting to experience. Like all the art cars from Burning Man that were out and driving around all the time was so much fun. One of them we discovered had like a matcha soft serve ice cream machine on the back
That's
of it.
amazing. Hell yes. That's so
It was
cool.
it was such a vibe. It was such a incredible experience. I definitely will be returning.
Amazing.
It's so special. If you love those types of festivals, those types of events that um, are really offering more and are more of a whole experience, I definitely
Hmm.
encourage anyone who's interested in that type of event to attend Lightning in a Bottle.
Sold. Say
Yeah.
less.
You gotta come with us next
Oh,
year.
I know. I was already messaging with Aid. I was like, okay, I don't even have to like, drag me there. I will be going. I know it's so hard because I'm sure you get it. And we're going to talk about your festival schedule and tips and advice for people. But like, you come back from a festival with that glow, and I, obviously have like still have the EDC Vegas glow. It's obviously one of my favorites, but
Yeah,
um, there, unfortunately back to back weekends, which I know is why Aid did Lightning in a Bottle this year. But yeah, we'll see about next year. But I said like there was something beautiful about EDC this year because I skipped 2023. So I was
yeah,
like, maybe it should be an every other year kind of thing for me. So like there's always that excitement that builds up because like what you just said, I'm craving that more transformational type event. Like I don't really have any camping festivals this year and there's just something special about those. So I think just hearing what I've heard from you and Aid on Lightning in a Bottle, I'm like sold. And I actually remember Party Safer with Jess last year coming back and doing a review saying it was one of the best like harm reduction festivals she had seen. Like that part of it was really great as well. I mean, for you, did you see like I guess people being more responsible as far as that goes?
definitely. I noticed a lot of personal responsibility at Lightning in a Bottle, and then like Dance Safe had a booth there.
Mm-hmm.
That was really cool, and I know LIB has a harm reduction team called the Rangers. So
Nice.
there's definitely a lot there
And
for sure.
did you do tent camping?
I did. It was
Okay, how was that?
yeah, it was. I mean, I'm kind of used to working it out a little bit.
Right.
So I thought it was great. I had a great time. My group also got lucky, like Aid with our camping location.
Mm-hmm.
We were very close to the entrance. We were very close to like each camping area has a little like hub where the showers and ice, and there was even like a food vendor there and like a smoothie vendor there.
Nice.
Um, so I was close to that too. So yeah, I definitely lucked out. So
With your spot. That's good.
yeah,
See,
so
now like I want to pick your brain about like just obviously like attending so many festivals because obviously people listening like for some people it's a huge expense so you might go to one a year or maybe two a year and then obviously if you're lucky enough to go to more than that that's amazing but there's so many choices out there so even hearing you talk about lib I would say because like Okeechobee was my experience last year that I loved and I was so happy I did that but it's this is why it's great to do other festivals and this is like only the United States that we're talking about too like we have
yeah,
this whole other world we're not even like touching on
I
where our
know.
eyes will be friggin' our minds will be blown at some point
Yeah,
but no there's still so many in the US to do and I think that's like the important thing about like going out and doing these other experiences because I've done so many repeated ones um So for you, I know you're doing this for work, so a lot of them are bringing you there because of what you do. But how do you juggle attending that many in a year? Because it's a lot on
Yeah.
your body and traveling and everything else you're doing. You're out of your routine. So how do you juggle them first and foremost?
It's honestly a great question. I feel like I'm still figuring it out, but
Fair enough.
I am a type of person, I like to be on the go a lot.
Hmm.
Um, so that is a thing for me. So like the a lot of traveling and stuff, I know like some people can take a toll. For me, I like love the thrill
Hmm.
of traveling a lot, and so I kind of live for it. And just honestly, like the basic things, like I try to eat as best as I can,
Hmm.
you know, drink water, all those things, go to the gym, um, try to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. Most
Right.
importantly, that's the biggest thing. Trying to get your sleep and taking care of yourself between events, I think, is probably what helps me juggle the
Hmm.
most.
For sure. Can you paint a picture just for people? Because we're recording this on June 7th. Can you just paint a picture? What did your May look like and what does your June look like as far as how many events you attended?
May was two,
Okay.
um, and then June is June is actually just gonna be one,
Oh, nice.
I
Okay. So you did
think.
EDC and Lightning in a Bottle. And you did,
Yeah,
what's the next one? Forest?
forest. Yeah,
Okay. So that's not too
electric
bad.
forest will be. Yeah. So
Okay.
because I did, beyond SoCal
Mm-hmm.
to Texas Eclipse
Right.
to Glow,
So you had
and
three in
then
April.
so
Yeah.
that was that was
Or,
that
well,
was
whatever,
yeah, that was a
within a
lot of
month.
back. I'd be like back home for like a week and a half between those.
And then you're traveling again, going into festival season. So Forest is next. How are you preparing? What are like the key elements to prepare for these summer festivals? You mentioned staying hydrated, obviously, getting good rest. That's always great. But how are you personally preparing for Forest?
I'm aside from all those things, I'm really trying to set a lot of personal intentions for Forest. I'm trying to, I'm making sure I have all my stuff together right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all the planning stuff, which I've gotten a lot of it done early, so that's been helpful. That'd be my other big tip is if you can get like the planning stuff, like all your stuff booked, your outfits bought early, then like the time leading up to it, going into it is so much less stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, right now I'm just trying to kind of like think about what I want out of this forest. Um, and
Experience.
yeah, what I
Is
want
this the
the.
second or third one for you?
This is gonna be my third.
Third one. Okay, cool.
So,
Is there anything like because obviously there's so many things to do, but is there anything you haven't done in the past that like you're going into this one like I need to experience this at Forest this year, or do you like to leave it
yeah.
open to whatever happens?
Well, this year I definitely want to the Dream Emporium, which was new last year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get to spend as much time in there exploring as I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely want to like take a lot more time to like explore all of that
For sure.
this year for sure. I'm also going with my other best friend Owen. Um,
Yes,
it's gonna
Owen.
be his first forest, and so
Amazing.
honestly, I'm really just excited to like experience his first forest with him,
Mm-hmm.
and because like I remember my first forest, I was with BB, Garrett, and Aid the very first like nighttime of the first night,
Mm-hmm.
and Aid like showed us through the forest at night for the first time, and that was just such a special memory.
Yeah.
for me. So I really want to be able to do that for Owen and just have a magical experience.
I love that. That's actually like I'm glad you touched on that because I think that there is just something special about that of like watching someone else I feel the same way. Like anyone I've ever introduced to like EDC Vegas, I'm like I have to
Yeah.
walk through the tunnel with them. I need
Yeah.
to see their facial expressions when they
Yeah.
see the festival, and I got to do that with one of my coworkers this year, and like that gets me more excited than anything is like seeing it
Yeah.
through their eyes. So I'm so there with you. I think that's like such a special moment to share with people. That will be you and Aid next year walking me through Lib
Yeah.
as I like take everything in. But oh, that's so cool. I mean, yeah, it's such a beautiful. You're giving me like FOMO now. Now I'm like, God damn it, why am I not going to Forest? It's such a beautiful
I
festival,
wish you were going.
but you know what? Lesson to everyone out there: you're always going to get FOMO over events, and they will always be there next year. And that's what I tell myself: like the time will come to do them again, and just be grateful for the ones that you do have, and also for the everyday person who isn't doing this for a living, it's like don't overextend yourself or put yourself in a position where you're like doing too many.
Yeah.
Um, I am curious too. I had down for you talking about the Gorge since you are out there. How many events have you done at the Gorge so far? Do you know?
I was just trying to think about that. Um, I think like 6 or 7. Because
Nice.
I've done Base Canyon twice. I've done Beyond 3 times. Um, and I've done Weekend. I did Weekender last year.
Nice.
So
All right. So you got a couple on your belt. Again, I was excited to chat with you about this because I'm like haven't touched on the Gorge that much, and I know that's such a dream location for people to go do, and it's cool to see all the events that they have out there. And yeah, Beyond Wonderland is coming up, guys. Tickets
yes.
available in our bio. Go grab them. How do you prepare for the Gorge? Like for somebody who's a first timer, never having been, like I know the terrain is obviously so beautiful. It's usually camping festivals that are out there, but how do you prepare when you go to shows at the Gorge?
Yeah, I'd say that's a big one. Like, if any venue you're gonna like, well, besides EDC too, any other festival that you're actually gonna intentionally really work to like get your steps in for, start preparing physically. Other than EDC, I would say anything at the Gorge because 2, 3 days of that hill, that incline, it can be a lot on you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and especially if you are in GA camping as well, depending on where you're placed, the entrance to the venue can be a walk.
Okay.
So the Gorge is honestly the biggest one that like I'd highly recommend like trying to get some steps in, trying to
Okay.
prepare yourself physically for because it can be a lot on you. That hill is steep.
Is
Um
it are all because I've seen like videos and things like that, but I've never been. So do all the different festivals that happen there like have a very similar layout as far as like stage placement, or do you think they kind of like mix it up depending on the event?
um a little bit. The stages are generally kind of in the same areas because there's obviously the main stage, which is the
Mm-hmm.
amphitheater part, and then there's depending on the festival, there's usually one or two on the hilltop area.
Okay.
And those are usually in similar locations. Those aren't a trek physically because those are
Okay.
right
It's the
when you
amphitheater.
yeah, right when you come into the venue. It's like when you're on the actual like at main stage, going
Cool.
up and down that hill.
And
But
how far is it actually out there? Because I know you're in Seattle, but like it always seems like it's kind of like a trek to get out there. Is
yeah,
it kind of like
it
that? Do you really need to bring everything with you that you would need?
yeah, it's about is it like 2.5 or 2 hours 45 minutes from Seattle, something like that, um, without traffic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, you definitely want to bring everything with you because it's very out there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as camping, it can get really windy out there. So I stake everything down with the big like stakes that they
Mm-hmm.
have at Walmart, the heavy duty ones. Like even my tent, I use those with.
Yeah.
Like the wind just can get really strong out there, so I don't like to chance it. So that would be a big tip that I have is if you can get like the heavy duty stakes, I stake everything down with those.
Got you. You probably do you have your camping setup like down pat at this point?
Pretty much when I have pretty much everything I need for the
Yeah.
most part, except for a few things I have to stock up on every time. But
Are you a sleeping bag person or are you do you have a mattress?
I usually do I do like a it's like a mattress pad. Uh
Mm-hmm.
it's like a blow up mattress pad, and then I do like a foam uh pad on top of it.
Okay.
Um and that works well for me. And I know you know this tip, but a good pillow is what I
Yes.
invest in every time because that
Beautiful.
can make a huge difference for sure.
100%. Yep. And I
Yeah.
feel like just knowing like obviously like the wind is a great tip and just the weather because I feel like it depends on if it's going to get super cold at night. I think one of the forests I like was shocked at how cold it got the first night, and I think Garrett ended up like crashing in our tent that night, and like didn't have anything with him. And poor thing was like fucking freezing, and he was like, "Emma, I literally almost had to like spoon you at one point. I didn't want to freak you out. I was like, it would have been fine. It's all good, but yeah, like just being
Yeah,
prepared for like the
it
weather. But yeah,
can,
I need to figure that out. I haven't driven to a camping
yeah,
festival yet, so I would like to. That's why Elements is like high on my list.
yeah,
That's like literally only an hour and a half from me, so hopefully next year I can go. But I'm like, one day when I can actually drive, I will bring the whole setup, like
yeah,
everything I need, and I will do tent camping like
yeah,
right. But when you're flying, it's hard, so
yeah, yeah.
it's tricky.
But that's my other thing for the gorge is the temperature can drop at night like dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
So like even if you're looking at the forecast and it's not seeming like it's going to be that cold, still bring layers for night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'd highly recommend a locker at the Gorge too, especially if you are in GA. I know I can't ever keep track. Some events for GA they do allow re-entry, and then some of them they don't or they
Mm-hmm.
didn't. So I'd look that up to make sure. But even if they do allow re-entry, um, it's still going to be a trek way back to camp if you
Right.
need to get something. So I really highly recommend getting a locker. Like just put your hoodie or whatever
Mm-hmm.
in there. You can split it with a friend, make it cheaper, you know?
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm a big locker. I'm agree with you because like half the time I'm like I'm not walking all the way back to the car or wherever it was. Like let's just
Yeah.
lockers right here in the middle of the festival. I'm just gonna do that. So
Yeah.
I'm with you on that one. Cool. Well, before I let you go, I kind of want to wrap up with obviously like with what you do. You've seen so many festivals, so many different crowds, types of people. You've dealt with all kinds of situations. So kind of like to help people prepare so that they have the best experience this summer. What are some like the biggest mistakes that you see people make at festivals so we can stop fucking up?
I mean, I hate to say it, not to sound like a broken record, but it really is the basics. It's drink enough water,
Mm-hmm.
eat more than a chicken tender,
Yep.
like
Full meal.
take care of yourself, bring liquid IV. It really is those basics because I've realized it even myself. I've made all these mistakes. It's like if you're not taking care of yourself, festivals are hard on you. Your body is not gonna let you keep going
Mm-hmm.
if you continue to not take care of yourself, and if you want to be able to make it all night. Sometimes I know at LIB one night I had to like make the decision. I was like, I need to go to sleep a little early tonight if I want to,
Mm-hmm.
if because I wanted to be able to be out all night the next night.
Yeah.
Um, so it really is just making those conscious choices,
Yeah.
and thinking about those things because it really is the basics. It's when you let those basics slip is when, you start not doing well, and then you're not having a fun time, and that's not good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you touched on like that. Dance Save kind of said a similar thing, and I know it sounds so obvious, but every festival is different, and it's just going to depend on your schedule. Like I honestly, like I broke some of my rules at EDC this year,
Yeah.
and like didn't end up eating as much as I should have, and it just was because like honestly busy, slept too long, and I remember I had I think it was Saturday of the festival. I literally purposely threw 2 protein bars in my bag because I was like, if anything, you're going to eat these today. And I ended up eating both of them, and I
Yeah.
chugged a protein shake, and I didn't end up having like dinner that night. And I was like, honestly, thank God I had those items on me because the day just like got away from me. And I feel like whether you're the rave mom or dad in the group, even if it's just someone saying like making that decision and being like, I know we're busy right now, but we're stopping what we're doing and we're going to get water and we're going to get food right now. Like sometimes like just having someone in your group to like put that out there and like put
Yeah.
their foot down about it, like has honestly helped remind us like, oh yeah, shit, we haven't eaten in like 3 hours. Let's actually like make a point to go out of our way to go do that.
Yeah.
It definitely
Even
helps.
even I need those reminders sometimes.
For sure. It gets distracting. I remember BB and I had food at like 2:30 in the morning on Friday at EDC because it was the same thing. Like the night had just gone on and we were there so
Yeah.
long, and I was like, we need to eat right now or we're not eating. So it's important to do all those things. And I mean, even I guess just like at summer festivals, just with the heat and different things, like even the tent you mentioned is like a safety thing. Any other safety reminders you would have for people attending festivals?
Um, I think tent locks I would
Mm-hmm.
recommend, especially if you don't if you're doing like tent only and don't have a car, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's kind of sad. And luckily I didn't hear any of this at like LIB, but a few camping festivals I've done recently, like I had a friend whose tent got sliced through.
Oh, jeez.
Um, so like I know even if you lock it, they can still try different ways, but just keeping your belongings safe and stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
As best you
but
can, yeah.
yeah, just looking out for your friends,
Buddy
keeping
system.
yeah, buddy system always. Um, taking care of each other is the biggest thing.
Love it. Yeah. We talk about that a lot, but just like, intervening if you see anything or just, yeah, like keeping an eye if something doesn't feel right. I think that's always important. It makes me feel better, at least in the scene, knowing that most people have those intentions. So like you feel like other people are kind of like looking out for each other, even if they're strangers. So that's
Yeah.
like always nice to see. And we appreciate all the volunteers and everybody else that like works these events and looks after you as well. And I guess my last question for you, because you attend so many events and we touched on FOMO a little bit, but does each event still have like its same magic and special moments when you attend so many, or does it feel more like work now? Or
No, I
both?
feel like I feel very fortunate that for me they do continue to still be magical. Um, no matter if I'm working it or I'm attending it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, I think for at least me personally, festivals are just such a magical thing, and there's always just beautiful things happening, and
Mm-hmm.
try to find. I'm also the type of person I try to find the beauty in everything and the positive side to everything.
For sure.
So for me, they do um, continue to make new friends, and that's always a magical thing.
Love it.
So yeah,
Yeah, that makes me happy. That's like amazing. I'm glad though, because it's like you found this career and this passion, and you're able to kind of like merge both of them together and meet so many cool people and experience so many things. And it's like you're young, so it's keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing to see, and you're building like so many special memories and connections. And like you said, I think they're just going to keep getting better. I think that's the part that always like threw me off. I saw so many comments after EDC of people having like the post-festival blues. And I remember that hitting me so hard the first few EDCs that I did. And I was like reading these posts and I felt for people so much because I was like, oh, it just takes time. Like that will go away, but like you're going to have another amazing festival experience. And I don't know if it's just like as I've gotten older, just like other being happy with my life in general, but also just recognizing like that experience was what it was. It was a beautiful experience. You're not going to like replicate that exact thing, but you're going to have this other amazing, beautiful experience at another festival. And I feel like that helped me kind of get over like post festival blues because I would just like look forward to the next event and kind of let the last event like be what it is and be happy that it happened and just know that the next one's going to be amazing and like special in its own right.
Yeah, exactly.
What's next for you other than Forest? Where can people find you this summer?
I'm still kind of figuring out my July right now, actually. But in August, I'm definitely planning on Elements this year,
Nice.
as well as Base Canyon. So that will definitely be my August for sure.
And you've done Base Canyon. Is this the first Elements for you?
Yeah, this will be my first Elements. I'm very excited about
Ooh.
it. I heard like nothing but amazing things after last year.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, and now that I have so many East Coast friends that I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I have no excuse not to. So
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm so jealous. I can't wait to hear from you guys like how this year goes. Because same thing. I think Elements. It was always a smaller, like more boutique festival, and since they had their move, like I know they had the one year with the really bad weather that I think like burned a lot of bridges for a lot of people, and people were really upset with the organizers that year. But so I was
yeah,
always weary of it, and then I feel like after they made the switch of the location, I spoke to a lot of people and they like love the experience now. So that's why I'm like, okay, I want to like go see it for myself and see all the changes in person. They nailed the lineup. So I can't wait
yeah,
to
that
hear what you
lineup
think.
is like
They knocked it out of the
incredible.
park.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so excited for you. It was so great, like getting actual like time to chat and
I
get to know you
know.
better.
I'm so glad we got this.
That's so cool. Plug where everybody can find you. Where can they connect with you?
So on Instagram, I'm at Grant's Journeys.
Beautiful. I'm going to link all that down below. Grant, this was amazing. Everybody go give a follow, show some love and support. And if you see Grant at a festival, please say hi or in the Seattle
Hey,
area.
yeah, for sure. I love to
um,
see it, fam.
yes, please. Yeah, go say RCC sent you over. And you guys know where you can connect with us at Rave Culture Cast on all of the platforms. If you guys enjoyed this, please consider sharing it with a friend, tweet, Instagram stories, tag us in it. We also have a Facebook group and a Discord community if you want to join, and I'll leave all of our affiliate links and in the show notes. So thank you guys so much for watching this week, and we'll see you next Wednesday with a new episode. Bye, guys.